This is going to be my continuous flow through Wormery raised bed. So what I've got here, it's the green cone, which is what they call a solar digester. It's supposed to go up the other way, and it has like a kind of almost like a big laundry basket that you dig into the ground, and the idea is you put organic matter and meats and cooked food and things in there, and then it heats up with the solar gain, and it's supposed to kind of evaporate the moisture and reduce the volume of organic matter, so supposedly it can kind of be composted into the ground by worms. But it's more of I didn't have any luck with it as well. It just filled up with rats immediately because it was hopeless. Not really sure what the point was. It was certainly no good just putting cooked food in it. But anyhow, I didn't like it. I thought it was a bit of a waste of space really. It's got quite a large footprint, and it tapers down to nothing. So it's the volume isn't. It's a good volume. It's probably about 150 litres, but for the footprint, I think you're best just make a little mound of compost really. But what I'm trying to do here is it's a cone. So in theory, I think it's a Hungary bin. I'm not sure of the make, but there's a commercial flow-through bin, which is basically it tapers from the top. So the idea is that the worms are working the organic matter down. As they're working it down, it reduces in volume. It kind of gravitates down towards the base, and then the tapering action helps to compact the castings at the base, which helps it to hold itself in place. And I know this will work, because even through emptying out compost bins where it's just had vertical sides, you can dig away a lot of the material at the base, but it still won't all fall down in one go. So this will work quite well. What I might have to do is, after a bit of trial and error, I might get a sharp knife and cut out this inside piece here. It's actually sitting on another blue barrel. You can't really see that from here, but I've got the other videos. It's a bit more easy to tell what's going on. Stainless steel fixings, because obviously they tend to rust away otherwise. And what I'm hoping to do is the sump from the can of worms wormery. I'm going to screw some little blocks into this, and then that will sit in there as a nice lid with crimson clover. And I'm hoping to plant up the sides as well, and then put little planting pockets in there and grow things like the ivy leaf toad flax up the side. So it's more of a green wall, more of a feature, but with the added benefit of having the continuous flow through worm castings. With this, I've got different methods of composting and vermicomposting, but what will be nice with this is when you're potting up plants, you can just take out what you need, scoop out a handful of castings, make some worm teas or things like that, feed plants with it, and then you're not disturbing the worm activity on the surface. So that can continuously, the worms can continuously process the material. But because this is quite large, it's a 458 litres volume to fill up with compost. But what I've done, I've just used corrugated cardboard, mainly Amazon delivery packages, and then to minimise the amount of space taken up by compost around the outside, I've used scaffold boards and slotted those all around the edge, offcuts of timber, bits of log, bits of twig, old paper and things like that, just to wedge in, just to basically infill. What I'm hoping to do there is this win itself will compact down, and the worms will be gravitating towards this, and so there'll be a good kind of population of worms around the outside as well. The idea of the timber is the timber helps to hold moisture, so when this has been raining, the water will permeate down, and then hopefully that will be absorbed by the wood around it, which will minimise the need for any additional watering. Not sure how well that's going to work, but what I've also done is I've used the lid of another, or the base of another 45 gallon drum, and I've lined that with, you might be able to see, it's just the capillary matting, and I've lapped that around to the outside of the wood. So the wood that's in the base is going to absorb moisture from any excess leachate or rainwater that permeates down, washes down into that sump. Not really sure. I might put some wood chip in the base as well, just to absorb any or reduce the volume of water in there, and then that will absorb some of it as well. And then if any worms work into that, then they can kind of move around in that material, so they're not going to tend to sort of drown. Although the capillary matting is got a texture to it, so it's not like a smooth plastic surface. So I think they'll be able to get out there easily enough on their own. But this will compact quite a bit, or it will settle because there's lots of airspace in with the logs that I've got in there, and that's half the idea. I really wanted to do something like this to show you can create a big impactful raised bed, terrific as a retainer or something like that. If you wanted to have a wedge compost system or something like that, you could build up against that, or you could have a number of these as a retainer on a bottom of a slope. And one of the areas where I'm looking at the school garden, they've got quite a steep slope. At the moment it's quite hazardous because it's about 6 foot on one side, slopes down to nothing, it's about 45 degrees. So something like this, you could scrape away a corner of that, and then use that corner that you've taken away to infill, and that will make it nice and safe and secure. And then you haven't got the chance of the students hopping over a fence and sliding down that slope. It's concrete at the base as well, so I think having part on the soil, part on concrete will work well. But these are only about £16, and it's almost like what they call it, one of those gabions, but much cheaper. It's galvanised. It won't last forever, but I think with something like this, is once it's in situ, it's quite easy to reinforce with wire or whatever, or put fence posts in the corners. But initially, it gives you that nice retaining sort of support. And what I've got here is various compost bins. I'm trying to neaten up this area, and I've got some planters, and I want to have green roofs on all of these. The two bins at the back, one's slightly taller, so I might take the top slats off that one and then put them onto this raised Indian sandstone crate just to neaten that up. And then obviously, well, I just want to have the green roof lid, so you've just got a sort of sea of crimson clover and white clover. I think that'd be quite good. And not really sure what I want to do with this bit, but in the meantime, I just want to sort of minimise the amount of stuff. So I've taken them off the lids. I've emptied those out, so where I've propagated the clover, rather than sowing straight into the trays, I didn't have the trays available at that point. So what I've done now is reuse these troughs over here, so I'm kind of greening up that space and minimising the amount of empty containers that are around. But this is the compost from one of my worm beds, and you can see it's superb stuff. It's really good, and so the clover absolutely loves that. And it's on a in situ sort of composting heap. There's loads of worms in there as well, so that clover's going to do really well, and the plant roots will be able to permeate down into that compost. And then when I move the troughs, the idea is that the roots break off and you're helping to fix nitrogen in the soil as well. Thanks for watching.